Thank you for joining me.
Always pleasure.
In the Zero Summit. Zero Summit, we are here to showcase leaders, businesses, and ideas that will transform the world into a more sustainable, better place for the future. And I will start this interview asking for yourself to talk about Arrival and your vision of the company at the moment and in the future.
You see big developed cities like London, and we're in 2020, and you see buses and the cars like they are today. You think, how it's possible? I mean, we know what technology can do. And how did it happen that all this industry is 20 years behind? Today, it is a perfect storm for the industry. It's electric vehicles, it is autonomous vehicles, it is the ownership model, software done on computer platforms. So all the things happening at the same time now. And this is the perfect time for the companies like we are.
So coming a step back for people that are watching this video to understand. So Arrival main focus now with the products are electric commercial vehicles, vans and buses. A lot has been talked about passenger vehicles, yeah? Electric cars, including what I do with Formai, and not so much, the focus has not so much been on this logistics of goods and these commercial vehicles, which they actually pollute a lot. There's a lot of room for improvement. You can actually reduce a lot of the carbon emissions. This is where Arrival is focusing. So tell me about a little bit more about this vision. Why electric commercial vehicles? What are the benefits of having it electric at this stage? And what is the approach of Arrival? How are you making it, the market choose your product?
Yeah, first I will answer why commercial vehicles. If you read any analyst reports today, is 4 barriers for electric vehicles. Number 1 is price, number 2 is range, number 3 is lack of infrastructure, and number 4 is time for charge, like how long does it take to charge. In order to make the vehicle, we just, like our strategy was to make best-in-class vehicle by attributes. And that's what we did with our products. Our electric van has almost double payload compared with the same weight, because it's lighter. It has much more cargo capacity, and it's designed to operate with this environment. So this is number 1. Number 2 is range. Commercial companies, they exactly know what is going to be their route next day. They can range much better. And actually, if you see most of the routes within the big cities is within 50 miles a day. And that's why the range anxiety is not a problem. Lack of infrastructure. They don't need to wait until infrastructure will be built in city. You can build your infrastructure inside your depot and you address it immediately.
Charge it whenever you...
And number 4 is the time for charging. Their operations allow them to charge during the night and deliver during the day. So it's a perfect fit for electric vehicles. In terms of impact on sustainability, obvious thing is that utilization rate of commercial vehicles is much higher than the passenger cars. Passenger cars you can use in the morning to come to the work, in the evening to come back, probably 5% of the time is utilized. If you're talking about commercial vehicles, the utilization rate 80% or even more, right? And that's why actually their emissions, even the commercial vehicles in terms of numbers, it's less quantity than passenger cars, but contribution for emissions almost similar in parity with the cars. And that's why we believe that if we really want to address the problem of sustainability with the cities, the first market we need to address is commercial vehicles. And what is also important, because the decision there is driven by economy, so fleet operators are making decision, okay, it's time to switch to electric vehicles because, first of all, it's better for our operations, we save 50% of our operation costs, but also all the standards which cities apply for commercial vehicles, we believe that acceleration rate, like how fast penetration of electric vehicles will happen for commercial vehicles is much better than passenger cars.
And so just to focus a little bit on the cost. When you talk about cost, is total ownership cost, yeah? Is the capex plus operational cost.
Yes.
And these electric vehicles are already on pair with fossil fuel vehicles?
Actually, it's cheaper.
Cheaper?
Yes. So it is at least for van, it is at least for 20% cheaper, and for bus it's 50% cheaper.
So if you are an operator, if you are a DHL, if you are an UPS, it's already cheaper for you to have a van, an electric van, and operate it on a daily basis?
Correct. I can give you an example, our bus. Our bus is 12-meter product, and it has a 8-ton total weight of the bus itself. 8 ton.
That's
our
half.
Exactly. Our closest competitor is 13, so we are 5 ton lighter. meaning that you need to spend less energy to carry
move it
this
around, smaller motors, smaller battery pack, because it's like a snowball effect, yeah? The lighter you get, the smaller motors you need, it becomes lighter again, so the weight plays a big effect.
Correct.
I fully understand that, that probably the bottlenecks of this industry is the battery. How do you see this technology progress? How do you see the battery? How do you see the battery affecting also the adaptation of the electric vehicles?
Battery has very particular attributes, right? So one is the specific capacity, so how many watt-hour per kilogram you can have in the battery. Second one is the volume. And if you take those attributes all together, of course everyone is looking for the battery which can work longer in terms of how many cycles it can work. Today the gold standard is the company can get 8 years warranty on the battery.
8 years means 1,500, 2,000 cycles?
We're talking about 2,500
cycles. People that don't know, cycle is the charge and discharge of the battery.
Correct. And then, of course, if there is a battery which has 5,000 cycles, it means that you don't need to change the battery within 8 years, you can change it within the 16 years. And it's, again, big impact on sustainability, right? So because you don't need to recycle those batteries and you can use them longer. Specific capacity is important because today, again, the gold standard is 250 watt-hour per kilogram.
How far away we are from 500 watt-hour per kilo, which then it will be used, battery will be used for pretty much anything, apart from maybe flying, but battery will be used for everything.
Actually, it's quite interesting that 500 watt per kilogram is already good enough for flying.
Okay.
And you will already will have a good weight budget. But another parameter of another attribute is the C rate, so how fast you can charge and discharge. And today, the standard batteries are 1C, and we're looking for something which is going to be 3C, because it means that you can charge your vehicle within 15 minutes. But the story about the batteries, so like you asked me, when we expect this type of technologies. Guarantee is important, and the behavior of the vehicle, of the batteries with the real world is important as well. So and safety as well. So it means that new technologies which are right now in the lab will come to the vehicles. It will not be able to put it in the vehicles within 1 or 2 years because you need to have a lot of testing. And I would predict that we're probably talking about 300 watt-hour per kilogram, and probably 1.5C, and probably 3,000 cycles. So these are the technologies which are available today.
And for people which are not really into this specifics of what is watt-hour, what is the C charge and discharge, is not the purpose of Zero Summit. But in a nutshell, there is still a huge margin of improvement of battery. And you're telling me that electric vans and buses are already cheaper, more sustainable, and better, and they already have a life expectancy of the product in the same, more or less, window as a normal combustion engine.
Even better, and I wanted to address that. So first of all, TCO, your cost per kilometer is already better. And as we're saying, for bus it's 50% better, for van it's 20% better than the current combustion.
Bus is 50% better?
Yes.
Already with the current battery technology?
Correct. Sustainability is not only how you recycle, how you create it and how you recycle. The also question is that how long the vehicle can work.
I think it's very important for people to understand that when you talk about the total life cycle of a vehicle, the production of the parts are very important. So you cannot say you have a more sustainable vehicle and lasts only 1 or 2 years and you have to throw it away and build something completely new, because the whole value chain is still very heavy on fossil fuels. So every time you build something, you're putting a lot of CO2 in the air. By having a modular approach like Arrival, is actually addresses sustainability in many different levels. And the whole chain of sustainability becomes better. So it's not only about the emission, which we're talking about, already gets it much better. The total cost of ownership, I was surprised to hear that, but it's already better than with current technology, already better than the traditional fossil fuel-based internal combustion engines. But also this modularity approach of Arrival is very, very interesting.
I'm an entrepreneur, businessman, I believe in business. This choice between being sustainable, or which in most cases means you need to pay more, and being efficient in business, I think we found the formula where it works together. So because all our products...
It needs to. Otherwise, it's a choice of paying more. But what you're providing is both lower costs and sustainable.
Correct. And if you can find the formula where you address sustainability and you address economy at the same time, that's the winning formula. And I believe that this is the function of business to find these things.
Sustainability is only achievable if quality of life and value is not lost. Otherwise, it has to be a choice. People have to pay more for it. So if you enforce a policy or if you enforce a technology which is not ready, you end up hurting pretty much the most poor people of that country or more people of the world. So if you say, look, you have to use only renewable energy by today, and people have no, and the renewable energy is more expensive, the poor people that are counting the dollar day by day, they'll have to pay more for energy. So it makes no sense. It hurts them more than actually will increase our productivity worldwide. That's what I want to address with Zero Summit, that innovations like what Arrival is doing, what you're doing, so congratulations, it's using innovation and technology to build a better product that currently exists and more sustainable at the same time. Really proud to hear that from you, and thank you very much for pushing these technologies and to make the world a better place. It's really, really incredible story.
Thank you very much, Lucas. Pleasure as always.
Thank you, Denis.
I think we did well, right?
Yeah, I think so.
It was very natural.